This will be too mad to get free money in Forza Horizon 5 using this easy and simple glitch completely legitimately and of course safely as of 2024. Now it's very simple and straightforward. Whether you're new to the game or you've been playing for a while and you're simply trying to get a few extra million credits to buy that next car or house you've been looking at. So let's go and get started, exactly what you guys need to get started. So first off, there are different few cars you can use. Now the best one for this is always going to be the Hoonigan Hoonicorn V2. The reason being is it has a highest skill multiplier of pretty much every single car in the game that's effective for this glitch. What that means is that you guys will be able to earn more skill points, which will directly convert to millions and millions of credits from using this method. However, if you don't have this car, this is very expensive on the auction house. An alternative that's almost as good, around 12.5% less effective or efficient, but still very good, will of course be any of these Formula Drift cars, which have a skill multiplier of 7. Whereas this car, being of course the Hoonigan Hoonicorn V2, has a skill multiplier of 8, which I'll go in and show you guys. Now regardless of what car you want to use, you want to go in and max out all the skill perks effectively, and of course you guys can see I've got a billion super wheel spins, and we'll be getting into that as the video progresses. But guys, let's keep on maxing out these skill perks. Like I said, every single car you use for this glitch, it's very important you pretty much max all these out. But this one you guys can see, Hoona Hard, a skill multiplier of 8. That's what makes this car so good. So once you guys have got your car, you've maxed out the skill perks, it doesn't really matter so much as to what you use for a tune. I've got the default Hoonicorn V2 tune, and all of the Formula Drift cars are going to have pretty good tunes by default, given the fact they're made to be drift cars. And then we can start drifting in this part of the map. As you guys can see, the aerodrome drag strip. This is a very good part of the map because it's very long, straight and wide, very simple to drift even if you're newer to the game. So whilst I'm drifting, I'll get into the math so you guys probably haven't heard about this as to how this glitch works and what makes it so good. So pretty much each minute you can make around 10 skill points from doing this, or in other words around 600 skill points per hour as a good average. Now you guys want to pretty much drift until the number on screen you guys can see, which right now for me is around 8 to 9,000, gets to around 50,000, but it depends on what car you're using. So I was talking about skill multipliers before. So skill multipliers multiply the number on screen to be able to pretty much mean you guys can max out your skill chain and obtain the maximum amount of skill points you can get in one skill chain, being 10, quicker. If you guys are new to Forza or simply not aware, the most skill points you can get in one chain is 10. And that'll of course sort of be determined by the skill multiplier. So pretty much for a car with a skill multiplier of 8, that number will equate to 10 skill points once at around 62,000. For a car with a skill multiplier of 7, it'd be around 72,000, meaning a car with a skill multiplier of 8, you don't have to drift for as long, meaning you can be more efficient and obtain skill points quicker. However, one thing to also note is that the number up top on screen is actually a lot higher than it will show on screen, because you guys will be earning skill points quicker than what the animation can show up. So if I were to keep drifting till 62,000, the point around at which you get 10 skill points, then the points will keep on climbing. And I'll go on and show this for you guys right now by stopping at around 45,000. You'll see the points will continue to climb and climb and climb because of the fact that the animation is so far lagged behind how quickly I'm earning skill points. So my overall point is that if you guys are in a car with a skill multiplier of 8, keep going to around 40 to 45,000 and you'll let the points continue to build up beyond the completion of your drifting to that around 62,000 mark to earn 10 skill points. You don't want to keep drifting till 100,000 for example, because you're wasting a lot of time, because whether you get to 62,000 on the dot or a million, you're still only getting 10 skill points. If you're a car with a skill multiplier of 7, which most of you probably would be, keep going to around 50 to 55,000. And if you guys are doing pretty well with your drifting, you'll notice the points will keep going higher and higher. These are just rough guidelines. You guys can see mine has gone well above 62,000, so I'd probably want to stop even earlier than 45,000. Maybe 40,000 would be the perfect number. You guys will be able to know your number as you keep going. But I'd only recommend waiting for the points to manually finish for the first few times while you guys gain your bearings and know the sweet spot number for you to stop drifting at. But it's a huge waste of time waiting for that when you guys can simply go up to one of the events, for example the cross-country event on the map or the drag event, and you guys can go up to it, initiate the event, then instantly back out, and that'll instantly bank your skill points. So for example, go up to it, you guys will be able to click X to enter, or this mark, back out, keep drifting, boom, it'll bank your skill points. Only takes around 3 seconds to bank your skill points instead of having to wait around 30 to 40 seconds for the animation to end. So without the animation, easy 10 skill points per minute. Hopefully you guys got what I was saying, but pretty much keep drifting to around 50,000, let the points build or go up straight to one of those events, cash out the points, and keep going until you guys get a few hundred skill points. Now we'll be talking about how to convert these skill points into credits. There are quite a few ways. We'll go ahead to the auction house and get started on exactly how you guys can do that. So there are three main cars I'd recommend you guys look out for. These are all obtainable on the auction house, and pretty much if you guys buy a car on the auction house and the perks haven't been used already by the initial seller, you'll be able to use them again. As you guys can see, Devos often go for just 4 to 500,000 credits buyout, which is a very good way to be able to make money. One thing to look out for is that you don't want to buy a car where the points have already been used by the seller, otherwise you won't be able to reuse the points, as I mentioned before. So pretty much you want to look out for a car which has the lowest likelihood of having the perks used. So what I mean by that, if you guys see a car and it's got an X-Tune or it's got a design on it, there's a good chance the person's actually used the car as they've upgraded it, made changes to it, which therefore means it's probably likely they've used the Super Wheel Spin skill perks. If you see a car with no changes to it, it's probably likely the person's got it from a wheel spin and is trying to flip it for a quick profit. The same goes for, of course, a duplicate seller. If you guys see one seller listing up 10 of these cars at once, you know he's probably doing this for profit and doing the same thing as you, meaning it's very likely the perks will already have been used. So how this works, you guys can find a car, buy it 400,000 credits to 500,000 credits, or even bid on it if you guys were more patient. You guys will be able to go into the car, get 2 super wheel spins, which will often outweigh the cost of the car. And on top of that, once you guys have used the perks, you can relist it and someone will buy it for you and you'll recoup most of the money. So pretty much you're getting free super wheel spins in exchange for the skill points you obtained from the glitch. As you guys can see, this car didn't have any of the perks used, and that's typically the go. So I get 2 super wheel spins, 1 normal wheel spin, and 50,000 credits. Plus, I'll resell the car, make 400,000 credits back, and you guys are going to be a huge profit. Very good way to be able to convert these skill points into credits. And another good way, or another car you guys can use with, is of course going to be the Zenvo. Now the Zenvo is a little bit more expensive on the auction house, but less people use it, although it also means it's usually harder to resell. These ones are around 700 to 800,000 credits, and I'll go on and find one of these I think has a good chance of not having any perks used. I'm looking, we see maybe one like this would be a good option. 676,000 credits. Now, in terms of buying cars, sometimes it will happen, like I said, where the perks have already been used. So I'd say if you guys follow the steps I'm telling, look out for duplicate sellers, don't have ones with upgrades, look for one that looks like it's completely untouched by a unique seller. Usually only around 2 out of 10 times on average will you find cars where the perks have already been used. What that means that you guys will take a little loss on those ones, but again, you can simply relist them on the auction house, make your money back and keep going. It won't be a huge issue, and these cars often do buy out or at least get bidded on, so you guys will be able to make at least a partial recouping and keep going to be able to convert those skill points into credits. As you guys can see, the perks hadn't been used in this car, which means I can get an easy super wheel spin, and of course, or 2 super wheel spins and 1 wheel spin and the credits. And the final car I'll be showing for this one is only available for VIP players. It's going to be the Ford Puma Forza Edition. This car is very good based off the fact that it's very easy and cheap to get, has pretty good perks, not quite as good as the Devo, but again, is very cheap and easy to get. 180,000 credits, these often do sell as well pretty often, and since they're a VIP only car, if you guys have VIP or the Ultimate Edition bundle of Forza, it means that there's a lot less competition for these cars, because most Game Pass sellers or regular edition version people who have the game won't be able to be flipping these in the auction house, meaning there's a much higher likelihood that the perks will not have been used, and there's always a great influx of these selling regardless. You guys can see, very easy on to do this. It only took very easy or quick to be able to buy the car, and you guys can rinse and repeat as you get skill points to convert them straight into credits. The one final thing I'll be showing in this video is very interesting. It's how to maximize the rewards you get in super wheel spins that most people aren't actually aware of, and I'll get to that right now. You guys can see the perks had been used in this car, but it was a good example of another car you should try out as a good option. Pretty much the last thing I'll be showing in this video is about how to maximize the rewards you get. So pretty much, I'll put it simply. There are hundreds of different clothing items you guys can get in the game just by buying them with credits. There are other clothing items in the game you can get through rewards and events or super wheel spins. But these are all locked, so you cannot buy them with credits, so we'll ignore those. But pretty much all of these buyable clothing items are pretty cheap. To buy every single clothing item that costs credits in the game, it's around 5 to 6 million credits. Now, why am I talking about this? That's because every single one of these items, or these clothing items, also the ones you can buy with credits, take up spaces in the loot pool. What I mean by that is that these are a potential reward in super wheel spins, which means there are around hundreds of items that could amount to, let's say, 10 or 20% of the entire loot pool out of the credit items, the cars, etc. you can get from super wheel spins are consumed by valueless clothing items. So if you guys go to invest 5 to 6 million credits, buy out every single clothing apparel, you guys will see you very rarely see them ever pop up on super wheel spins, which means they're being replaced by credits and rare cars you can sell. So pretty much, if you remove all of these trash clothing items out of the loot pool for a small amount of credits in relation to what you'll be making from this glitch, you'll make it back by getting way better Super Wheel Spin rewards. I haven't even seen one clothing item yet, and if I do, it'd be a rare one, which once I get it once, would be removed from the loot pool. So generally, it's going to be worth doing. Easy credits, rare cars can be resold to make even more money from this glitch. So guys, that's how it works. Like and subscribe for more and stay tuned, as I'll have a big glitch coming out next week that's going to be a lot more effective than this drifting method.